UFC 321 from the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, UAE. In the main event, Tom Aspinall, the new reigning defending heavyweight champion, defends his title against Ciryl Gane, who just beat Alexander Volkov a few months ago. And don't forget when Dana told Volkov, we're going to make it right, man. Yeah, have fun with Ciryl Almeida. So Gane gets the title fight. Volkov gets stuck with the fight Gane didn't want. And also, we have a co-main event between Vina Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern. Their rematch. The first fight was so good, we need it again. 5 rounds, UFC world title on the line. Okay. Folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more UFC predictions here on the channel. The PFL's off for like 6-7 weeks. I swear I did not mean to do that. Legitimately, they're gone for 6 or 7 weeks. So we're not going to see them for a minute. No Contender Series anymore. So obviously UFC predictions today. We'll have our UFC best bets later in the week. Might have some additional content here on the channel. Got to get that figured out. But again, we've got our UFC 321 predictions. Folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Main channel, Greedo Plays, daily MLB best bets, and soon on Tuesday, daily NBA best bets. So make sure to go check us out over there. Greedo Plays on the main channel. Okay. 14 fights from Abu Dhabi, pay-per-view UFC 321. Obviously, next week we have a loaded card from the UFC Apex with a main event of Steve Garcia and David Onama. Full card predictions for that video will be out as soon as Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane concludes on Saturday. We'll have you for Garcia Onama right after, because I know you're dying to see that video. First prediction, well, that card. Yeah, I'm sure you're pumped to see the predictions, of course, because why wouldn't you be? Anyways, first fight of 14 from Abu Dhabi. It is the return, the longly awaited return, I guess, of Mizuki Inoue. Or, I guess she's going by just Mizuki now. Like on the UFC's official website, it's just Mizuki, not Mizuki Inoue. Okay, I'll just call her Mizuki Inoue because that's how I know her. Mizuki Inoue, 2-1 in the UFC, has not been seen since her decision victory over Hannah Goldy in late 2023, and that was coming off a 3-year hiatus. Yes, Inoue makes her UFC debut in August of 2019 against Wu Yannan, winning that fight by split decision. Wu Yannan, who did go 1-5 in the UFC, and then they book Inoue against Amanda Lemos in 2020. She was a favorite to win that fight. She lost it. Takes 3 years off. They book her against Hannah Goldy because that's the easiest way to get a victory in the UFC, fight Hannah Goldy. And obviously Inoue wins, and she has not been seen in 2 years after. So she comes into the UFC as a 25-year-old fighter. She has 3 fights, and now she's 31. So she still should be in her prime, but you've had 3 fights in the last 6 years. Don't like that. Jacqueline Amorim, the former LFA strawweight champion, of course, has passed every test in the UFC except for the Sam Page test. Of course, their only loss, Sam Hughes, because you can't keep up with the track star, Sam Page Hughes. Amorim, since losing to Hughes, beats Montserrat Canello, beats Corey McKenna by submission, the weird fight that got stopped, and then Amorim still has the armbar, so fight's over. Like, McKenna tapped twice, but it's okay. Amorim wins that one. She submits Vanessa Demopoulos, obviously, and then she just submitted Polyana Viana, who, at her best, used to be a good grappler. Amorim, got her pretty decisively. So Amorim now gets Mizuki Inoue. Obviously, if you watch a Jacqueline Amorim fight, you know what she wants to do. She's trying to get fights down to the ground, and she's going to try to submit you. Mizuki Inoue has struggled a little bit in terms of her wrestling in the UFC, at least getting taken down, but her overall jiu-jitsu's not bad. Like, if you watch the Amanda Lemos fight, actually, Mizuki's best work is on the ground after Lemos takedowns. But Lemos does dominate that fight striking-wise, and she does knock down Mizuki Inoue in that bout. I guess the more recent fight, obviously, was on the Fiziev Gamrot card in the fall of 2023. And Mizuki Inoue wins the unanimous decision. I can't believe I remember where I was when I was watching this fight. I was up in the stands at an Indiana football game, and yes, I was sitting there during pregame warm-ups watching Mizuki Inoue fight Hannah Goldy. Why? Because it may mean something to me. Not this fight, though. But Mizuki Inoue wins. Hannah Goldy's the aggressor on takedowns. She was 1 for 14 on takedown attempts in that fight. And Mizuki Inoue wins the fight by unanimous decision. I didn't remember much of the fight when I first watched it because why would I? And then when I rewatched it, I regretted rewatching it because nothing really happened. Mizuki, in a way, puts it on Goldie in the third round. That's probably the most notable thing about the entire fight. They give Goldie the second, if I'm not mistaken. That's the round I would have given her. And the first round I would have given Mizuki. It's not a good fight. Hannah Goldie's low level, and we know it. She's a 6-3 fighter. She was 6-4 after that fight, or she's 6-5 after that fight. Doesn't matter. Not a high level fighter. In a way, beats her, but doesn't look great. Now, stylistically, I guess it's not a horrible matchup for Inoue or Mizuki, because Amorim's going to try to take her down. Mizuki's grappling's not bad. I know I got to go Amorim here. I have to. I mean, this is a fighter who's actually active, who actually fights in the UFC. She's been in the UFC for 2 years, and she's had 5 fights. Mizuki's been in the UFC for 6 years. She's had 3 fights. I don't know what you've been doing outside of the cage. I know Amorim's been in the cage and winning fights by finish. That's rare to see in the women's weight classes sometimes. I mean, I respect Amorim. She goes out there and she finishes fights. I don't know what to entirely expect out of Mizuki, but you've been away for so long and you've been so inactive for so long. A fighter like Amorim's going to make you pay, who should probably be getting a shot at the rankings really soon. I mean, Amorim, I think this is going to be her 5th consecutive win in the span of 2 years, all 5 finishes. I respect it, man. Jacqueline Amorim wins the fight against Mizuki by first round submission. I think she'll make it look easy early on this card. Next up, we go to the flyweight division as Azat Maskum takes on Mitch Raposo in our second bout. Maskum, a pretty sizable favorite as the Kazakhstani fighter, 15-2 professionally, coming off back-to-back L's to Charles Johnson and Tagir Ulanbekov. And while, again, those are 2 L's for him back-to-back, those are pretty good losses to have. Now, you never want to lose fights, obviously, but I'll take Maskum's losses over Mitch Raposo's losses. Mitch Raposo's losses are Andre Lima by split decision. Not a horrible loss. I thought he lost it personally. And then Sumadarji. Lost to Sumadarji. Yeah, I mean, Su No Chin Madarji beats Mitch Raposo by unanimous decision. It's a fight that actually picked Raposo to win. He does nothing in that fight, man, other than wrestle. Like, there's no damage being done by Mitch Raposo in that fight. You know, significant strikes is one thing. He had 9 total significant strikes. But sometimes, you know, when you're a wrestler and not everything you throw is deemed significant, you say, okay, well, what's my total strike count? 13. 13 total strikes by Mitch Raposo. Are we serious? 6 for 19 on takedowns, just slightly over 4 minutes of control. Ooh, I don't even know how a judge scored 2 rounds for Mitch Raposo. What 2 rounds do you give Raposo in that fight? Guys, damaged-based scoring. What rounds do you give Mitch Raposo? I don't know. I can't tell you. He does nothing. He just wrestles. And yeah, again, like, guys, wrestling's cool. If nobody does damage in the round, sure, give it to the wrestler. But when you take a guy down, there's things you can do with it. You can throw punches. Obviously, ground strikes are big. I mean, watch a Brock Lesnar fight. I know that's a random pull, but I mean, serious. Nobody did hammer fist better than Brock Lesnar, right? Like, you can do damage on the ground or attempt submissions. What Mitch Raposo did in his fight against Sumadarji takedown does absolutely nothing with it. He's taken on Azat Maskum, who has been disappointing so far in his UFC run. He won his first fight over Tyson Nam by split decision. Again, Maskum doesn't do much in that fight. They give him the nod. Okay, I guess one of those Apex cards that just kind of, you know, I forgot about because they were in the Apex. And then Maskum's last 2 fights, he loses to Charles Johnson because Energy Johnson's just that guy. Maskum drops him in the first round, but Johnson takes over the fight as the fight continues. Then Maskum's last fight against Tagir Ulanbekov, he loses every single round. I will tell you this, though, that's way more competitive, though, than a 30-27. Like, those are competitive rounds that Maskum, sure, I think he's getting beaten all those rounds. He's right there, though, with Tagir Ulanbekov. When you look at a Maskum Mitch Raposo fight, it's not one that flies off the table for me, but I see 2 guys who, you know, want to wrestle, are okay strikers. I definitely go with the striking game out of Maskum way more than Mitch Raposo. So then that kind of leads me to, how does Raposo really win? He has to be a better wrestler than Maskum, which he may be, but Maskum's going to have 5 or 6.5 inches of reach on Mitch Raposo. It's going to make it really difficult for Raposo to get in range here. And Maskum, who has resulted a lot to his wrestling so far in his UFC run, actually I think should be better off in the striking game here. Because why wrestle with Raposo when you know you can probably beat this guy striking-wise? It's the same type of frame and build that Raposo is going to be dealing with in back-to-back fights. Because Sumadarji, I think I'm not mistaken, he's got to be taller than Azat Maskum. I think I've had this dilemma before with Sumadarji. There's no way that guy's 5'8". Like, he has to be at least 5'10", but sure, even worse, right? Mudarji, big flyweight at 5'8". Well, okay, Maskum's 5'10" at the weight class. He's a 5'7". Okay, that's fine. I don't know why I thought he was 5'10" too. It's fine. Basically, same build for Azat Maskum. Okay. Raposo is small for the weight class. He's 5'5". Okay. What I'm getting to here is it's going to be tough for Raposo. If he couldn't beat Mudarji, I don't think he beats Maskum either. I get it. Mudarji might actually be higher level than Maskum. I don't really care. I'm going to go Azat Maskum to win the fight. I think he's able to do it in the striking, right? Because I don't mind either guy's wrestling, but if, somebody's got to win on the feet, that's going to be Azat Maskum. And once Maskum sees, okay, I'm winning up here, why wrestle? There's no point of wrestling if you're already winning on the feet. This fight's going to be up to Mitch Raposo to make that change and, obviously, and, turn the fight around. I don't think he's able to do it. Give me Azat Maskum to win the fight by unanimous decision. Unfortunately for Raposo, this probably spells the end for his first UFC run. Maybe he'll be back, maybe he won't. I don't know. PFL might be calling. I don't know. Probably not. Give me Azat Maskum by decision. Next up, we move on to the heavyweight division. It's a banger at 265. Welcome back, Beast Boy, Chris Barnett. All right. Everyone's favorite heavyweight, Chris Barnett, is back, and he's taking on Hamdi Abdelwahab, who I was so disappointed in his last fight. He lost to Mo Usman. Yikes, man. I might as well continue my stories of random places where I've watched fights. I watched Hamdi Abdelwahab fight Muhammad Usman on a boat. I kid you not. I was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and it was Baku. It was early in the morning. It was like 9 o'clock. I was half awake. 8:30. I was half awake in the morning. I was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and yes, I was struggling to find data, and I found it to watch Hamdi Abdelwahab fight Muhammad Usman. Yes, that's how much the sport means to me. So while I'm on the middle of the Pacific Ocean watching this fight, I regretted trying to get my my cellular because I picked Abdelwahab and he looked horrible. Abdelwahab wins the first round. I'll tell you this, my internet cut out, my data cut out initially when I watched the fight. Obviously, I've rewatched it since, but cuts out for the first round. I missed like half the second round, but I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm trying to reconnect. I'm like, all right, I think Hamdi's fine. He won the first round. It wasn't a great first round, but Hamdi wins it. And then Usman takes over the second round and then completely dominates the third round. Completely dominates Hamdi Abdelwahab. To the point where I'm like, why is Abdelwahab this big of a favorite against Barnett? He's minus 390. I get it. Barnett's, 5'9". I'm like, guys, Sumit Darji's probably taller than Chris Barnett, right? Like, there's a chance Azat Maskum is taller than Chris Barnett. And Chris Barnett fights at 265 pounds. But Barnett, right, the 5'9" heavyweight, he's 39 years of age. He does use that he uses most of that limit too. He usually weighs in around 260-ish up to 264, which he weighed in the Nzejuku fight. And Barnett obviously is coming off that loss to Nzejuku where Kennedy knocked him out in the first round. Okay, fight before that for Barnett, he beat Jake Collier, and then his other win, he beat Jean Vellante. Jean Vellante had the New Yorkin, right? Chris Barnett has not beaten a non-old, obese heavyweight. I'm sorry. Is that mean? It's the truth, though, right? For whatever you want to say about Hamdi, about how bad he looked in the Usman fight, and how he just deteriorated after the first round, and even, watch the Jamal Pogues fight. Did Hamdi really win that fight? I don't know. I don't know if I can say he did. And then I know Hamdi won his first fight in the UFC against Don'Tale Mayes, but he was, roided all up. He knocked down Don'Tale Mayes. He's not the same after the roids, but I mean, I have to believe he can beat Chris Barnett, right? I think. Don't bet on this. Whatever you do not bet on Hamdi Abdelwahab to beat Chris Barnett. Again, I'll say this now. I think Abdelwahab should win. Abdelwahab's 6'2", Barnett's 5'9". It's always going to be difficult for Chris Barnett to win fights in the heavyweight division. Well, it's the only weight class that he can fight at, right? Just because he's a big dude. I forgot he missed weight against Jake Collier. Oh my goodness, I forgot he was the second ever heavyweight to miss weight. The dude is 5'9". I forgot he missed weight at heavyweight. Oh my goodness, you're 5'9", you weighed 270 pounds. Oh my goodness. This has been an eventful UFC run for Barnett, right? Had the loss to Ben Rothwell on short notice. He was supposed to fight Bigfoot, if I'm not mistaken, at one point, right? Was he supposed to fight Bigfoot outside the UFC? Lose to Rothwell on short notice. Then he gets to fight Jan Vellante, hits the spinning wheel kick, does the somersault flip on the octagon, gets needing the ball so bad by Budai, he can't continue, and they give Budai the decision. Knocks out Jake Collier when he missed weight, has 5 fights canceled, and then fights in Zejiku and gets knocked out in the first round with the knee to the body. Oh my goodness. I mean, you're 39, you're 5'9", you fight at heavyweight. I'm going to go Hamdi. How does Hamdi win, though, is the question. I'm going to go Hamdi by decision. Yeah, I'm going to go Hamdi by decision. I'm going to go Delgado here. I don't, unless Barnett finds a shot and knocks him out, I don't think he beats Hamdi Delgado. But Hamdi, oh my goodness, he looks so bad after the first round against Usman. But I don't like Abdelwahab's power. He went the distance with Jamal Pogues. I'll say this now. I don't think either guy's a high-level UFC fighter. I don't think they are. But what I will say is I think more of Hamdi Delgado than Barnett. Again, is Barnett fun to watch? Yes. Is he hilarious? Yes. I will be watching regardless of who Chris Barnett's fighting, right? I will be there. But, I mean, I'm trying to pick a fight winner here. I'm going to go Delgado. But he's only had 5 pro fights, 6 if you count the steroid fight. He should be nowhere near minus 390. He should win, but those odds are ridiculous. Chris Barnett's fought 35 times. Now, he's lost 9 of those, but yeah, I would not touch this at all. Do not bet on the fight. I'm going to go Hamdi Delgado by decision. He should be able to outbox Chris Barnett, I'd hope. Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. If you're a serious fighter, you're going to beat Barnett. And that's nothing against Barnett, but he's 39, man. He's 39, not getting any younger. I'm going to go Delgado to win the fight by decision. Next up, we go to the featherweight division. This is good. Nathaniel Wood is an underdog here against Jose Delgado. Wait, real quick, I need to say something about the last fight. Guys, Chris Barnett's actually the favorite on Tapology. 54% of voters are going with Barnett. 46 are going Delgado. Hilarious, because even though Delgado's a near minus 400 favorite. Okay, our next fight. Jose Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. Delgado is a favorite here against Nathaniel Wood, which I actually understand, but I do believe the fight is very competitive because Nathaniel Wood is good. He is. Now, he's not doing himself any favors by still having the prospect nickname. Dude, you're 32, all right? It's time to wrap that nickname up. But Nathaniel Wood doesn't really get talked about for being as good as he actually is. The guy's lost 1 fight since late 2020, where he randomly lost to Casey Kenny. Remember that guy who disappeared from the sport? Nathaniel Wood, after losing to Casey Kenny on a main card of a UFC pay-per-view that was main evented by Khabib Nurmagomedov's last ever fight, Nathaniel Wood beats Charles Rosa, beats Charles Eder-Jordan, beats Andre Fili, loses to Muhammad Naimov, beats Daniel Pineda, and lastly, his last fight beats Morgan Chartier. Guys, I think Morgan Chartier is good. Not a lot of people think that. No, I don't know. He beat Landwehr. Guys, I've always thought Chartier is very solid, okay? I watched that dude fight in Cage Warriors. He's just fought nothing but dogs over there. I mean, the fights this dude had against Vucenic and Hughes, tough fights every single week. Every single time out in Cage Warriors. That's why his record looks like crap. But regardless, going out and beating Morgan Chartier is a big win. That's what Nathaniel Wood did. He beat Chartier by decision. He wins every single round. It's a really good kickboxing performance from Nathaniel Wood. He's coming off of dropping Morgan Chartier. He knocked down Daniel Pineda. Wood's underrated, but now he's taking on Jose Delgado, who's on a run. Delgado, undefeated in the UFC, 10-1 professionally, only loss comes back in 2023, but after winning on the Contender Series, gets his contract, beats Connor Matthews by first-round knockout, and then pulls off a huge victory over Haider Emil, who was undefeated at the time, and Delgado knocks him out cold in the first round, puts him out with the knee 26 seconds into the fight. So now we get Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. Wood's a point fighter, I'll say that. I mean, he's not going to get a finish. I don't know if Nathaniel Wood's still yet to get a finish in the UFC. Knockout-wise, his last victory, his last stoppage was a submission win over Jose Alberto Quinones, my goodness. Wood's been knocked out more times than he's actually knocked anybody out in the UFC, and he's a primary striker. Remember that random fight where John Dodson just kept throwing overhands in Rio Rancho, New Mexico against Nathaniel Wood? Yeah, that was that fight. And the 39-year-old John Dodson knocked out Nathaniel Wood. That did horrible things to the rep of Nathaniel Wood, losing to an old John Dodson and getting knocked out by John Dodson. But he did, and he's been patching up that aura. No, he's been patching up his reputation since. Oh man, he's just got to stay out the power shots of Delgado. I think it's Delgado. It's not like Delgado hunts knockouts. He just throws hard, and he throws a lot. Watch his Contender fight. I mean, he throws like that against Ernie Juarez the entire fight. I don't know what Delgado's going to be deep into a fight. The only fight that he's ever gone to the decisions with, the only fight that Delgado's ever seen the scorecards for, he lost. That was the one fight in United Fight League in 2023 against Chris McCate. who was 5-1 then, 11-3 now fighting an LFA. Just lost his last fight. So if you're Nathaniel Wood, you just can't get knocked out early. Because as we've seen, I mean, hell, Nathaniel Wood he dragged Morgan Chartier into deep waters and beat him. Same thing with Daniel Pineda, beat him. Same thing with Andre Touchy-Fili. Both guys got knockdowns in Wood and Fili, but Wood, outfought Fili and won the fight by decision. So ultimately, that's where this fight comes down to for me. Can Nathaniel Wood drag the fight out, or can Jose Delgado find the knockout? Because either you're picking Delgado by first round finish, or just finish in general, or you're taking Wood by decision. I'm going to go Delgado. I think I'm going to believe a little bit in Jose Delgado here. If we're going to pick him, we're going to pick him by first round knockout. I think but Nathaniel Wood's pretty good. No, the only guy's ever but he got outstruck by Casey Kenny. Yeah. But I'm also saying, like, Delgado is probably better than Chartier if I'm picking Delgado here. And Chartier is just No, I'm done picking against Delgado. I picked Hyder Emil to beat Delgado. I'm not going to pick against Delgado again. He throws so hard, man. He does. And I think this is a fight that's kind of made for Delgado to win. I think UFC likes him a lot. MMA Lab guy over in Phoenix, obviously. Same gym as Sugar Sean O'Malley, Mario Bautista. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jose Delgado here. We're going to go Delgado first round knockout. If this fight passes the first round, I don't know what the live odds are going to look like, but if it gets out of the first round, hammer Nathaniel Wood. Like, just do it. Okay. Give me Delgado first round knockout, but after the first, I'd be scared if it's still happening, right? Next up, heavyweight division. Two guys who had their last fights canceled and two guys who are very frustrated about their fights getting canceled. Well, especially the Brazilian and Walter Walker. Walter Walker was originally booked to fight in Brazil against the aforementioned Mohammed Usman, and Mohammed Usman had to pull out the night before the fight with an injury. Walter Walker still made weight. He yelled some profanities. Cool. He's now taking on Louis Sutherland, who was supposed to fight in Australia against Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa was sick, or could he just not make weight? I don't know. Tafa has retired from the sport. That one hit hard to me, man. Justin Tafa retiring from the sport of MMA, man. I'm gonna get emotional thinking about it right now. It sucks, man. Like, you watch a guy who, 12 pro fights, 12 men tried to beat Justin Tafa and only 5 succeeded. It's tough to see a guy step away from the sport with such potential. I'm joking. But yeah, Sutherland was supposed to fight Tafa. Tafa withdrew from the fight. Okay, fine. The new Mark Hunt experiment failed. I mean, who would have thought? Because nobody's Mark Hunt. I mean, Mark Hunt was great in his prime. Actually, he wasn't even in his prime in the UFC. He was just, old and getting into slugfests. No, early UFC Mark Hunt. He was still in his prime. Anyways, remember Mark Hunt got a shot for the world title? That was something. Louis Sutherland, though, was supposed to fight Tafa. Fight didn't happen. Walter Walker was supposed to fight Mohammed Usman. Fight doesn't happen. Okay. I'll break this fight down so quickly. Louis Sutherland's going to look to knock out Walter Walker. Walter Walker's going to take him down. Okay. I know, every Walter Walker fight is the same breakdown for the most part. Can Walker take his opponent down? Okay. The fight that sold me on Walter Walker was Nzejuku. I think Nzejuku's good. Nzejuku follows that trend that I always say about light heavyweights going up to heavyweight and how they can be so successful up there. Obviously, Nzejuku's kind of a different animal because he's 6'4", and he's more well-equipped to be a heavyweight just because he's huge. He's a tall guy. But Walter Walker's 6'6". Walter Walker gets the fight down, pulls for the heel hook, boom, fight over. And again, Walter Walker, like I mentioned when we were talking about the fight with him and Mo Usman, Walter Walker's won 3 consecutive fights by submission. Yep. And this is more important. 3 consecutive fights by submission, 3 consecutive fights in the first round, and 3 consecutive fights all by heel hook. Tafa, Mays, and Nzejuku, which still makes it so weird to me. How did Buddy lose to Lucas Bresky? I still don't know how that happened. So that's a question too, what happens once Walker gets out of the first round? We're not going to know, guys, because either Walker's submitting Sutherland in the first round, or Sutherland's knocking out Walter Walker in the first round. Sutherland last fought in the PFL Tour banner back in 2024 in a unanimous decision loss to Slim Shablesi, losing that fight by decision. Shablesi, though, last fight lost to Puya Rahmani over in the PFL, so there goes the undefeated Shablesi, and should have made his way to the UFC. No, Dana would not have liked Shablesi, I don't think. He's not the most entertaining sometimes. The UFC's, they're done. He's Shablesi's like a better Carl Williams. They would not have wanted him. Anyways, Sutherland's only loss, again, is to Slim Trabelsi. We know how difficult Trabelsi can be. Sutherland's only loss in the PFL. No, he lost to Bob Lee, too. Oh, he lost to Abdelwahab Bob Lee. I forgot that fight happened. That was a long time ago, though. Bob Lee, because they've all fought each other. Trabelsi, Bob Lee, and Sutherland, they've all fought each other for some random reason. I'm not going to put much into Bob Lee Sutherland, though. That was 2022. Bob Lee with a big victory yesterday on PFL Africa, though, is in the championship against Justin Clark. I'll be so shocked if Justin Clark flukes his way to a world championship. That would be something. Anyways, that card's on December 20th. All right, cool. Christmas fights. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Walter Walker here. I mean, I'd be shocked if he didn't submit Sutherland in the first round. You can prepare as much as you want for this guy, the clean monster Walter Walker. Again, he's clean, I guess. You can prepare as much as you want. You can roll jiu-jitsu guys as much as you want. Okay, at the end of the day, Walter Walker possesses a skill set that is very difficult for a lot of heavyweights. He grapples. Yeah, he doesn't wrestle, no, he just grapples. He straight Imanari roll, he's going to pull for a leg, good luck. You can't replicate that in the gym, man. You can't. It is difficult to deal with a guy like Walter Walker. I don't know how Sutherland wins. I know how Sutherland wins, he has to keep the fight standing, he has to knock out Walter Walker. But again, it's just you can't prepare for this guy on a full camp. Sutherland's had like 8 days to prepare for this. I think we get another heel hook. I come back for our best bets later in the week. I hope the under 1.5 is anywhere near plus money, or I hope it's just playable. If we get under 1.5 anywhere near minus 130, we are firing. Give me Walter Walker to submit Louis Sutherland in the very first round. First round? My goodness, English. That's not even English. Anyways, okay, on to our next fight. Give me Walker first round sub. This one, oh goodness. Abdul Karim Al-Selwady, the pride of Palestine, takes on Mateus Camilo. Why is this fight so high on the card? Why is this fight above Walker Sutherland? I don't know. But here comes Al-Selwady taking on Mateus Camilo in this fight. Both guys looking for win number 1 in the UFC. Al-Selwady has not fought since March of 2024, and Camilo fought earlier this year, and he lost. He was a pretty big favorite to beat Gabe Green, and he lost to Gabe Green. Nice. Both guys are yet to make it out of the Apex, and this is their first non-Apex fight. Al-Selwady lost to Luik Radzhabov on Rosenstrike Gaziv. Shout out Shamil Gaziv and Rainer de Ritter. Both fighters have now, well, no, I was going to say they both lost due to exhaustion. Gaziv lost due to eating too many hamburgers. But that's the real reason John retired from the sport, John Jones, because he was scared of Shamil Gaziv. Anyways, Al-Selwady fought in that card, and Camilo fought in the Burns Morales card in the Apex. So neither guy's seen an actual UFC environment, an actual UFC crowd, and an actual UFC octagon. Regardless, though, this is a weird one to pick. I mean, Al-Selwady, right, 0-1, lost to Luik Radzhabov, gets knocked out in the third round. I think he's holding his own fairly well up until that point. I think it's 1-1 going into the third, right? Radzhabov wrestles Al-Selwady quite a bit in the first round. Second round, Al-Selwady wins it. I think, was Al-Selwady a favorite in that fight? He had to have been, right? Yeah, he was a minus 185 favorite, and he lost. But then he gets knocked down in the third round, right? Luik Radzhabov sits down on one, puts down Al-Selwady, and finishes him. The reason why Al-Selwady was such a big favorite, by the way, to beat Radzhabov was because of his Contender Series victory. The guy beat George Hardwick back when it was, like, big stuff to beat George Hardwick. Not before Hardwick, lost to the Cage Warriors title too, right? That's when Hardwick was 13 or 12-1. It was a big deal, is what I'm trying to get at, when Al-Selwady beat George Hardwick. Because I remember specifically watching that Contender Series episode, thinking, okay, Hardwick's gonna, smoke this guy. It's gonna be a first-round knockout, and that's how they get Hardwick in the UFC. No. Like, that fight, guys, when Al-Selwady fought Hardwick, it was set up for Hardwick to get the UFC contract. And Al-Selwady spoiled it, and of course he made the UFC instead. Now, Al-Selwady Camilo, Camilo, he fought in Tough Enough and then Zombie Fight Night. It's just like, he's fought in various regionals, and these are good regionals to fight in, except for Tough Enough. Tough Enough's, yeah. Lost to Gabe Green by second round sub. I didn't know how much Gabe Green had left in the tank, man. He was 2-3 in the UFC after fighting the dumbest game plan possible against Brian Battle. This fight's tough to pick, man. I think if I'm Al-Selwady, I'm wrestling here. I am. I mean, Mateus Camilo's lost 3 fights. They're all by submission. Gabe Green's one of them. Prior to that, got subbed in Fury by Eric Mercado. Got submitted in Shoot, though, back in 2019. That's what I'm doing if I'm Al-Selwady, and he has the skill set to do so. Like, again, the game plan's right there for Abdul Karim Al-Selwady. You take this guy down. If I'm Mateus Camilo, obviously I'm trying to stuff these takedowns, I'm trying to push him off, and I'm trying to strike. I'm going to go Al-Selwady here. I mean, the game plan, hey, both blueprints are out there. I mean, legitimately, the blueprint to beat Camilo is take him down. The blueprint to beat Al-Selwady, fight off the takedowns, and eventually, sit down and put him down. It's like, if I'm Mateus Camilo, I am replicating exactly what Radzhabov did, and I'm just doing it earlier. Like, I'm not letting Al-Selwady see that success grappling-wise. I'm not letting that happen, right? If I'm Al-Selwady, I'm wrestling right away, and I'm grounding this dude the entire fight, and I'm looking for submissions. I know Al-Selwady doesn't really do that. He's more of just, and that's fine, he's more of just a puncher once he gets down than a, submission guy, and that's cool. I don't care. But I think this fight's set up for Al-Selwady to win. Again, Force MMA guy. It's a knowledgeable camp. They should get Al-Selwady the victory here, I think. Camilo's from Nova and Yao, but yeah, I'm gonna go Abdul Karim Al-Selwady to win his first fight in the UFC. I'm gonna take him to win this one by decision. If he just grapples Camilo, he should be able to win. So give me Al-Selwady. Huge step up now. We go from that fight, 2 0-1 guys, to this. Wow. Mateus Rebecki versus Ludovic Klein. They do not give Rebecki easy fights. The UFC refuses to give Rebecki anybody easy. I mean, oh man, this is tough. I mean, guys, we look at the strength of schedule for both guys, honestly, but especially Mateus Rebecki. Guys, Rebecki comes into the UFC. Well, I guess, okay. They started, okay, this is why. They started him off so easy, because he beat Nick Fiore, he beat Radzhabov, beats Roosevelt Roberts, and then they gave him CDF. It was a fight he was supposed to win. He was like a -4 something favorite in St. Louis, Missouri. He lost. He beats Murtablek Orblai. Again, I'll continue butchering his name to the end of days, end of times. And then they gave him Chris Duncan, and Duncan beat him by unanimous decision. Who said Chris Duncan was going to beat Mateus Rebecki? That was me. Chris Duncan as a +210 underdog. Yeah, that was me. Anyways, saw that one coming from a mile away. Because here's the thing, guys. Rebecki's overrated. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Rebecki's overrated. Ludovic Klein is going to easily win this fight. And he's just going to out-scramble Rebecki, man. And don't get me wrong. Does Rebecki always get into great fights? They're back and forth wars? Sure. That's the thing, too. Bro got into guys, Rebecki, every fight, they're good fights. I'm not hating on the guy. Every fight's a war, and you just fought 2 months ago? What? You fought 2 months ago, and you're going to fight again? Chris Duncan hit you with some bombs. Now, Chris Duncan definitely won the fight, don't get me wrong, right? I know some people were questionable on the scorecards. I thought the right call was made by giving it to Duncan. But the amount of damage Mateus Rebecki, gets hit with in that fight, and you're going to fight 2 months later against Ludovic Klein, who's pretty good, who lost to Gamrot, sure, but I mean, Mateusz Gamrot fought Ludovic Klein like Mateusz Gamrot wants to fight anybody. Obviously did not go his way against Charles Dubronx, but, Ludovic Klein just gets grappled the entire fight and put on his back the entire fight. Guys, Ludovic Klein can hit hard. Watch the Thiago Moises fight. He drops him twice in that fight. Watch the AJ Cunningham fight. That is one of the most brutal beatdowns I've ever watched. Now, I know AJ Cunningham is on the, fans have been very critical about AJ Cunningham. I don't know if I'm AJ Cunningham, I don't know if I'm posting, I don't know if I'd post all the stuff he's posting, but whatever, I guess. I don't, no, actually, no, I don't. Like, I'm not praising what Cunningham is posting. I want to make that very clear. Only in MMA. Here, I'll leave it at that. Only in MMA will you get, these are the unique personalities we get in the wild world of mixed martial arts. There we go. That's what I'll say about that. But yeah, Ludovic Klein, AJ Cunningham is legitimately one of the worst beatings I've ever watched. And it's like a quick beating too, but what's going to happen. I remember watching that fight. It was so random because Cunningham gets that fight off the contender, and Cunningham's walking out to the octagon. They're talking about his his dad beat him as a child, and then here comes Klein to beat him as a child as well. It reminded me of Duplessis Strickland. You thought your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad's got nothing on me. Obviously, Ludovic Klein didn't say that to Cunningham, but I don't know. It's just that was just going through my head when I was watching that fight back. Regardless, though, Klein's gonna put a hurting on Mateus Rebecki. he's going to put a hurting on this guy. I think Klein, grappling-wise against Rebecki, I think he's able to hold his own. I think Klein's a really good defensive wrestler. It's just, he ran into Mateusz Gamrot, who, outside of the top 10 guys, Mateusz Gamrot beats pretty much everybody. The guy's good. He lost to Charles Oliveira. Okay. A lot of fighters lose to Charles Oliveira. Oliveira showed in his last fight in Rio that he still got it, right? That's no shame on Ludovic Klein that he lost to Gamrot. If Klein can just stuff some takedowns out of Rebecki, which I believe he's going to do, it's going to be a long night in the office for Mateusz Rebecki. I'm just I don't know if I want to pick Rebecki to get finished here. I think I'm going to. You take that much damage 2 months ago, and you think it's a good idea to fight again? I mean, I get it, you want to be active. I applaud that. I'm going Ludovic Klein late finish here. I'm going to go Ludovic Klein third round TKO over Mateusz Rebecki. Again, we saw a lot of third round finishes just last week in Vancouver, British Columbia. We saw 4 alone just on the prelims, which is crazy. I think Rebecki gets one here. I think Klein gets one here. I think eventually Rebecki's going to break. I don't love the chin. You just fought 2.5 months ago and you're fighting again against the guy in Klein who's not, it's not like Klein's just going to wrestle in the entire fight. No, Klein's going to look to strike. I saw him put down Moises multiple times. I've seen him finish AJ Cunningham, throws great body kicks when he needs to too. He can switch it up. I like Klein quite a bit. I think he should be able to beat Mateusz Rebecki. Nickname is Mr. Highlight for for Ludovic Klein. Has only his 1 knockout victory in the UFC, and it was a TKO win. Actually, no, he has the Shane Young win. He's got 2, Shane Young and AJ Cunningham. I think we get a third. Give me Ludovic Klein, 3rd round TKO victory over Mateusz Rebecki. On now to our next fight. It is not the featured prelim. It is the penultimate prelim, as we have Ikram Aliskerov fighting Jun Young Park. The Iron Turtle is back, and they are throwing him out to fight Ikram Aliskerov. All right. Well, Aliskerov, 16-2 professional, 3-1 in the UFC. It's a random, not random UFC run, but it's when you look at Aliskerov's Tapology page, and you're saying, okay, if you've never, if you didn't know of Aliskerov, but you knew of the fight, this would be weird. If you didn't know who Aliskerov was, but you knew Phil Hawes and Warley Alves, you're looking at his record okay, this guy's beat Hawes, he beat Alves, beat Muniz. Whoa, lost to Robert Whittaker. It's so random. Bro went from Warley Alves to Robert Whittaker. And he lost to Whittaker, obviously. Rob knocked him out in the first round. I don't know if that sucks. That might be the last, vintage prime Robert Whittaker performance we ever see, which is really sad. But regardless, Aliskerov now gets Jun Young Park, especially after his victory after Andrea Muniz, where he knocked Muniz out in the first round. You saw it, I saw it, the American people saw it coming. Initially, Aliskerov was booked against Bruno Ferreira in New Orleans. Aliskerov withdrew from the fight at UFC 318. Ferreira is going to be fighting Vittori next month in Madison Square Garden. That'll be something. Ferreira is a favorite, so we'll see. And now Aliskerov instead gets the Iron Turtle. Jun Young Park coming off a victory in his own right over Ismail Nurdayev, winning the fight by unanimous decision. It's kind of what if you think in your head what a Jun Young Park fight is. Okay, that's exactly how Jun Young Park beat Ismail Nurdayev. He gets beat on the feet, but then he wrestles when he needs to. He scramble wrestles, and he ends up on top, and he wins a close decision. Park's coming off winning back-to-back fights, beat Brad Tavares prior to that by split decision, had lost to Andrea Muniz the fight prior to that in December of 2023. Jun Young Park, though, it will surprise you, the record, 9-3 in the UFC, some pretty big wins over the likes of Tavares, Albert Duraev. Losses, though, Fluffy Hernandez back in 2019, Gregory Rodriguez and Andrea Muniz. Aliskerov should beat him, though. Guys, if Nurdayev sees that much success striking with Jun Young Park, Aliskerov will see a bunch of success striking with Jun Young Park as well. You can look at Aliskerov and say, oh, Makachala, Russia, right? Oh, he's going to wrestle, combat sambo, cool. I don't think so. Well, no, actually, hear me out. The Sambo's going to help Aliskerov against Jun Young Park because, I don't know, if I'm Jun Young Park, what am I doing in this fight? Well, I'm going to have to wrestle Aliskerov because I know if I strike with this guy, I'm probably getting knocked out. Hell, you can ask Warley Alves, who got flying kneed. Phil Hawes' shit is gone, but Aliskerov put him out and put him down back in 2023 at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. And then, obviously, Andrea Muniz caught a left hook to the chin and got put down, right? So if I'm Jun Young Park, I have to wrestle here. But again, this is a guy in Ikram Aliskerov who, the dude, he's from Russia. He trains out of Makachala, Russia. Okay, if I can bank on a Russian fighter to do anything, it's, the ability to, wrestle. And it's the ability to fight off, incoming takedowns. That's one way to put it. Okay, he's a Sambo fighter. He's going to be fine. All right, I will be damned if Jun Young Park goes out here and just out-wrestles Ikram Aliskerov. Like, I'm not going to say anything crazy like I'll eat my shoe if Aliskerov gets out-grappled by Jun Young Park, but I'm pretty confident he won't, okay? So with that being said, Aliskerov should be able to punch Jun Young Park's face in until Jun Young Park can't take it anymore. That was a weird way of phrasing that, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I don't know how Park wins. I mean, if Ismail Nurdiev doesn't hit that hard, right? Like, you know, exponentially hard. But Nurdiev touches up Jun Young Park quite a bit in their first round of their fight. You can say the second round's actually, you know, kind of competitive between Nurdiev and Jun Young Park, kind of. But ultimately, right, Jun Young Park gets the decision. You got some interesting cards in there, to say the least, because of the point deduction and whatnot, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, Nurdiev got deducted 2 points in the second round with an illegal knee. So you get a 29-25 scorecard in there, or a 26-29 scorecard, because a judge scored the third round 10-8, really? I don't know about that. That's, I mean, I guess the Baku, Azerbaijan judges. I mean, Nurdiev dominated the first round against Jun Young Park. Ikram Aliskerov probably dominates the first round against Jun Young Park as well, so I'd expect an Aliskerov domination here, okay? Give me Ikram Aliskerov to knock out Jun Young Park in the very first round. He will get it done by first round knockout. On to the featured prelim. Kelvin Gastelum, Nasrat Haqparast is fighting Killian Salkilld. I don't know what the odds are entirely. I'm seeing on Tapology they got Salkilld at -115 and Nasrat Haqparast at -105. On best fight odds, I was seeing -150 for Salkilld and +130 for Haqparast. This fight was just announced 2 days ago, so odds are still up in the air, I guess. Maybe it opened at -150 for Salkilld and it's come down since. Maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know. But just check your book before you bet on it, I guess, right? But anyways, featured prelim, Nasrat Haqparast on short notice takes on another guy who's taking on the fight on short notice in Killian Salkilld. Good fight, really good fight. I mean, they are really putting the rocket to Killian Salkilld at this point. I mean, I assume if Salkilld wins here, they will immediately book him to be the featured prelim for the Australia card. I think they have to be doing 2 pay-per-views in January. Early one, I assume, in Los Angeles on Paramount. Well, they're all going to be on Paramount, but the Paramount opener in early January, first card 2026, to Poirier Gaethje probably. And then I know they're going to Australia for Volkanovski, so I guess, yeah, we are just getting 2 January pay-per-views. So I assume Volk's pay-per-view card, the featured prelim, I would assume is going to be Killian Salkilld if he beats Nasrat Haqparast. Again, they are putting a rocket to the back of Salkilld to the point where I'm thinking, actually, if he wins, no, he might be on the main card, because they never stack the Australia cards, because I don't know, the UFC doesn't really like Australia that much, I guess. And I can imagine Salkilld, if he wins here, is going to get a top 15 opponent in the lightweight division, and they'll say, okay, go fight. Oh, Iron Michael Chandler is probably his fight. No, they don't want to do that to Chandler. They'll give him, they'll give Salkilld, I don't know, Money Moicano. There we go. They'll give him Money Moicano. Oh, that's a crazy step up. They give him, it could give him Hoofy if he wants to fight again. Regardless, I feel like Bahamondes. That's the fight, Bahamondes. Yeah, so if Salkilld wins, they're gonna give him Bahamondes in the main card of the Australia pay-per-view. But and this is why they're doing it again. They want to see how ready is Salkilld right now, because he's taking on Nasrat Haqparast. Haqparast, who's very good. Very good TriStar guy, obviously. 10-4 in the UFC, 5 consecutive victories. John McDessie victory, Landon Quinones win. First round knockout win over Jamie Mullarkey in 2023. Now, a lot of people can knock out Jamie Mullarkey, but it's okay. Jared Gordon split decision and Esteban Ribovic split decision victory. This is interesting, right? Because Salkilld, 2 fights in the UFC, 2 victories. He knocks out Anshul Jubilee, first round knockout, and then beats Yanal Ashmoz by unanimous decision in his second fight. But Salkilld, right? One of the biggest prospects, I would say, in the Australian, can't say regional scene because he's in the UFC, but one of the bigger prospects the UFC has, at least, from Australia. 25 years of age, again, a guy who, at his best, can go out and get finishes, and I get it, a lot of people could probably finish Jubilee, but a guy who can knock you out, and watch the Yanal Ashmoz fight. It's a wrestling-heavy attack out of Killian Salkilld. 8 takedowns in that fight, 4 of which are in the first round. It wins that fight. 30-27 on one card, 29-28 on the other 2. I'm not against the 30-27 card, honestly, for Salkilld in that one. And I think he should beat Haqparast. And Nasrat Haqparast is a good fighter, don't get me wrong. I mean, this has got a lot of experience. And this is kind of where I am at not crossroads, but where I'm at a little bit of a tough decision here, because Haqparast wins, man. He's been in the UFC for such a long time. The fight that he had against Rebovich was absolutely phenomenal. It just gets buried because it was in the apex. It's just like, it's not a fight. Like, you can talk about the best fights of 2025. Like, Haqparast Rebovich is great, man. It's nonstop action for 15 minutes, and that's a lot of Rebovich fight. But that's happens with Haqparast too. I mean, Haqparast Jared Gordon's not a bad fight either last year in Saudi Arabia. It's just they don't get talked about because, well, the Haqparast Rebovich fight doesn't get talked about because it was in the apex, so nobody remembers it. But Haqparast will throw. I mean, all Haqparast fights are kind of the same. They're just, all right, I have a better chin than you. I can outstrike you. Here we go. It's going to be up to Killian Salkilld to, change the fight, essentially. And I think he's capable of doing so. Unless Salkilld wants to fight the Haqparast style of, all right, stand and bang and trade, which I think he's capable of doing, don't get me wrong. I think the grappling might actually come true here for Salkilld. Nasrat Haqparast, 84% takedown defense rate in the UFC. The only guy who I've ever seen have a lot of success wrestling Haqparast is Dan Hooker. But I just don't think many people try it. Or like good wrestlers try it. I think Salkild's more than capable. Again, I saw him grapple and ground Yanal Hashimoto's for back-to-back rounds. I think, here's the thing. If Salkilld gets in trouble in this fight, it's going to be in his back pocket. So it's going to be something that he can go to if he needs. While I think he can be very competitive in the striking game, if he's not, or if he's getting beat, then okay, we can just switch it up and go to the wrestling. So I expect Salkilld to win. I think the UFC put him in this spot for a good reason, or for the right reason. They put both these guys in on short notice. Yeah, they need another fight on the card, but trying to push Salkilld a little bit, and they're trying to use the name of Nasrat Haqparast for Salkilld to get a big fight in the top 15 of the lightweight division, probably for the January pay-per-view card. So I'm going to go Salkilld here to beat Nasrat Haqparast. It just kind of checks out for me that Salkilld should win the fight. So I'm going to go Killian Salkilld to beat Nasrat Haqparast by unanimous decision. Again, I think striking-wise, he's competitive with Haqparast. I think he hits harder than Haqparast does. Maybe. But I think, again, if he gets into trouble, the wrestling will be there. So I'm going to go Killian Salkilld to win the featured prelim over Nasrat Haqparast by unanimous decision. On to the main card, and we go to the light heavyweight division. Alexander Rakic is back, and he is a favorite to beat Azamat Murzakanov. I'm going to spoil it right now. Are we serious? Guys, every Thursday, we do our best bets. It might be Wednesday this week. I don't know. Probably Thursday. I am very confident we're going to be going Azamat Murzakanov in that video. I don't see it. What, guys, Alexander Rakic has not won a fight since March of 2021. Think about what you were doing in March of 2021. Depending on where you lived, you couldn't really go out, or at least you couldn't sit down at a restaurant in March of 2021, depending on where you live, right? If you lived in Florida, obviously that doesn't apply to you. But where I lived in March of 2021, I think maybe I couldn't eat indoors at a restaurant, unless I was the governor of the state. Nah, just kidding. Am I though? Anyways, that's the last time Alexander Rakic won a fight. March of 2021. Like, I look at, that's 4 years ago. I was a different person 4 years ago. We've gone through a presidential change in America. We've seen 4 new Super Bowl champions since then. Like, I mean, something I can put into perspective here for, just all around sports fans here. Of something that happened in 2021. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, what's something crazy? I mean, I'm blanking on something, a ridiculous fact here, but it has just been a very long time, okay? It's been a very long time since Alexander Rakic won a fight. It is actually ridiculous, okay? It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. 2021's last time you won. And he beat Thiago Santos in a bad fight, if you remember. That fight was not good. But Rakic, he was big stuff then. He got Jan Blachowicz in a main event, and he was winning up until the leg injury, and then, he's never been the same since, right? Rakic takes a year off, multiple years off, comes back, loses to Yuri Prochazka at UFC 300, gets knocked out, fights Magomed Ankalaev in a boring fight, but Ankalaev wins. I know Rakic at his best can be kind of entertaining, and you can always look at the Jimmy Manawa knockout for that. Am I crazy on saying Rakic fights are usually really boring? They are, guys. I mean, like, Ankalaev fight, crap. Santos fight, horrible. Like, do me a favor, watch Alexander Rakic, Thiago Santos. It's such a nothing burger of a fight, man. Watch Rakic Uzdemir back in 2019. Nothing really happens. That's more volume than a lot of Rakic fights. A lot of his fights are just, all right, leg kick. Leg kick. I mean, not much goes on. Right hook. Right hook. Oh, I don't know. He got knocked out by Prochazka, and like, I don't know why he's favored to beat Murzakanov here, guys. Murzakanov. Now, Rogan was glazing the hell out of Murzakanov in his last fight at UFC 316 in New Jersey, but like, low-key warranted glaze. Like, he was telling Murzakanov, he's saying it in the middle of the fight, he was saying it after the fight, and sure, he beat Brendan Hibetto, but whatever. Like, it's not his fight. Johnny Walker pulled out of the fight. Rogan said Murzakanov is the best, non-top 5 fighter in the UFC, I think he said, or the best, like, unknown fighter in the UFC. Like, Rogan was talking about the professional, Azamat Murzakanov, like, he's going to win a world title someday. I don't know if he's going to do that, but he's very good, man. Very good kickboxing out of Azamat. Very sharp hands. He hits hard. Such a tough guy to beat. He's never been afforded this big step up in competition, but am I crazy for saying I don't think Rakic really is that big of a step up in competition? Guys, Rakic hasn't won a fight since 2021. He's lost to Blachowicz, sure, injury, but then Prochazka and Ankalaev. I get those are high-level guys, but I don't even think Rakic should be in there with those type of guys anymore. I don't even think he should be there with Murzakanov. Murzakanov, I think, is going to knock out Rakic in the first round. That's my opinion on this fight, okay? To me, this is as automatic as it gets. All right, Murzakanov is very good. He hits like a truck, and Rakic hasn't won a fight in 4 years. How can I pick Rakic here? Yes, the highlight reel knockout, whatever, Jamie Manoa, they're going to show up before the fight. It's great. That happened in 2019, okay? That was a first-term Trump presidency knockout. That's the, I don't care, guys, I don't care about Alexander Rakic when his last knockout came during the first Trump administration. I don't care. That's your last knockout win? For a guy who's supposed to hit really hard? Well, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, the last time Alexander Rakic fought, the Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the reigning defending NFL champions. That's the last time Rakic fought. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Yeah, I'm going Murzakanov first round knockout. Rakic, he looks slower. He hasn't beaten a good fight. He hasn't beaten anybody. And again, watch Rakic Santos. Does Rakic actually beat Santos? Or does Rakic just give the decision because he's the up-and-coming guy who's supposed to be next for the belt? And Santos, oh, he's kind of washed. His knees are fried. Like, rewatch that fight. Nothing really happens. I don't mind them giving it to Rakic because Santos is biting on everything Rakic throws. But again, that's Rakic's whole game. Feint, oh, bite. Okay, I gotcha. I don't know. Murzakanov, we're... Easy knockout for Murzakanov here, man. Murzakanov destroys Alexander Rakic. First round knockout. I'm so confident about it, man. One guy actually wins. Give me the professional Azamat Murzakanov, whatever you want to call him. Next up, heavyweight division. Again, we talked about it at the very beginning of the video, but here it is. Alexander Volkov gets robbed against Ciryl Gane. There's no other way I can say it, guys. And I'll talk about this later again when we talk about Ciryl Gane fighting for the world championship. But Alexander Volkov is the first man in UFC history to actually outstrike Ciryl Gane. It happened, okay? Nobody straight up just outstrikes Gane. Volkov actually did, which made that fight so crazy and so great for Alexander Volkov. It was a tremendous victory for Drago. We didn't know what's going to happen with John Jones, but, there were stakes to that title fight. Like, Volkov had won. He'd be in the main event probably. No, they'd probably do Almeida. They'd probably do Almeida, Aspinall on this card. Maybe not. Maybe Volkov's getting a rematch right now against Tom Aspinall. It was a monumental type win for Alexander Volkov. After that fight's over, I picked Gane. I was like, I'll be damned. Wow. I was shocked, but I was like, all right, Volkov won. Good for Drago. And they raised Gane's hand. After the fight, Volkov walks out of the octagon, very frustrated. Dana says, I don't know, man. Everyone in this building thought you won. You got robbed. Don't worry. We're going to make it up to you. This is how you make it up to him? Jailton Almeida, are we so serious? You could have either just given him the title shot, because, guys, I've seen Dana White give fighters who lost title fights anyway. I witnessed the guy give Jose Aldo a title fight after losing to Marlon Moraes. Now, everybody in the building thought Jose Aldo beat Marlon Moraes in December of 2019, but Dana did not care. So, well, he did care. He gave the shot to Aldo, even though the judges had him lose. They still gave Aldo the scorecards, even though Dana at the press conference said, well, what do I think? The judges scored it for Moraes. After the Volkov fight, Dana said, no, Volkov won that fight. And he was adamant that Volkov won the fight. But nope, go fight Jailton Almeida. No title fight for you. And even worse, I don't even dislike Gane, but Gane's getting a title shot. Guys, Volkov beat Rosenstruik, beat Romanov, beat Tuivasa, and beat Sergey Pavlovich. And made Pavlovich look horrible. He was a big dog in that fight. I thought no chance in hell going into that one Volkov was going to beat Pavlovich. And he did. And then he beat Gane. And then, now here you go. You get the guy nobody wants to fight at heavyweight in Jailton Almeida. Have fun with that. They could have, at the very least, gifted Alexander Volkov a Curtis Blaydes rematch. They could have gifted him that. Blaydes right now is the fight everybody wants at heavyweight for how bad he looked against Rizvan Kuniev. Everybody, in my opinion, wants the Blaydes fight. But they said, nope, go fight Jailton Almeida. Why am I so outraged by this? Because Volkov's gonna lose. Almeida's beating him, guys. This is the fight. Again, I have been so high on Almeida for the right reasons, guys. This is the guy nobody wants to fight at heavyweight, except for Aspinall, because nobody's beating Aspinall right now. But Almeida is just, it's revolutionary stuff what Almeida does. If he had a better striking game, he'd be such a problem. But these heavyweights are dumbfounded when they fight Jailton Almeida. A guy who could wrestle, and he's got really good jiu-jitsu. Wait, what? And he's really strong? What? He's an athlete? What? That's what Jailton does. And I say this all the time about jiu-jitsu practitioners. And we're going to talk about one of them later on in the video, fighting for a world championship. What Jailton does that a lot of straight jiu-jitsu guys can't do is that he's a very good wrestler. I watched this guy take down Curtis Blaydes 9 times. Now, yeah, Blaydes got up all 9 times, and Blaydes ended up winning the fight, but that's neither here or there. I witnessed Almeida actually take down Curtis Blaydes. So it's a great jiu-jitsu guy who can get to your back, but also take you down. Problem. Is Volkov a physically strong guy? He is, 100%. Ciryl Gane actually took down Alexander Volkov. Yeah, because Ciryl Gane was getting beat on the feet by Volkov. It was crazy. But what I'm getting to here is Tom Aspinall took down Volkov and submitted him. So Gane was able to get the legs and take down Volkov. Blaydes took down Volkov 14 times, given that was prime Blaydes back in 2020. But Almeida should be able to do the same thing. Volkov's only getting older. He's 36, and the UFC, or the judges robbing him of the Gane decision, has ruined his last hope for a title shot. He's not getting it anymore, man. Almeida, again, this is the worst possible fight you could give Alexander Volkov. It's a fight that I don't remember who claimed the other didn't want the fight. It was originally booked for, I think, Atlanta. Was it Atlanta? No, it was booked for New Jersey. 302, Mahashev Poirier. And I guess Volkov got rebooked. I don't know what happened, but I think someone accused the other of not wanting the fight. I don't remember if it was Almeida accusing Volkov or Volkov accusing Almeida. Regardless, though, it's a fight that's been rescheduled. But again, nobody wants this fight against Almeida because of the way he fights. And again, he's such a physically strong dude. He's overwhelming on the ground. And he actually gets finishes on the ground, too. It's such a brutal fight for Volkov. If Volkov can stuff takedowns against Almeida, he'll knock Almeida out on the feet. Almeida's not that good of a striker, but his grappling and just the strength that he has and just the overall, again, grappling ability, it's so hard to beat this dude, and I just don't think Alexander Volkov can do it. You're coming off the highs and just you thought you beat Gane, and now, I gotta fight this killer nobody wants to fight after I should be getting a title fight instead. And if you're Volkov, too, you gotta watch Ciryl Gane get a title shot now on the same exact card you're fighting on. I mean, come on. I'm going Jailton Almeida first round submission. This was supposed to be Ciryl Gane fighting Jailton Almeida, but Gane dodged it by, making movies, and he shouldn't have won his last fight, and he got a title fight anyway. And they didn't even do the payoff. I mean, if this fight was in France, okay, I kind of get it. Like, Gane fighting in a title fight in France, okay, that makes sense. No, it's in Abu Dhabi. You could have thrown anybody against Aspinall here, and it would have sold, okay? So, they're just screwing Volkov, and Gane's going to get his third title shot, whatever. Jailton Almeida first round submission. He's just that good. Okay, he's that good, and it sucks for Volkov, but it is what it is. On to our next fight. It is our featured prelim. Umar Nurmagomedov takes on Mario Bautista. A title eliminator, you would think, but actually, no, I think it's a title eliminator just for Mario Bautista. No, maybe. So I don't know. Here's the thing, right? Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili's rematch will be in December of this year. There's not many other challengers you can have at 135 pounds. I don't think you can warrant giving Umar another shot at the World Championship just off of one victory. Yes, would a win over Mario Bautista be absolutely huge? 100%. But I don't think you can give him a title shot just off of this, right? I think he needs to have one more fight. So I think the winner of this fight probably needs to fight Ayman Zahabi. Probably. Zahabi, I thought he beat Chito Vera, okay? I didn't think, I thought I pretty clearly had Zahabi winning personally, and we picked Zahabi to win, but that should be the fight. Ayman Zahabi should be in a title eliminator against the winner of this bout, in my opinion. Now, Zahabi didn't do what I thought he should have done, and call out Deiveson Figueiredo and completely call his shot for the World Championship, because he didn't. He just called out Sugar Sean, which I get it, he wants to make money, and if you beat Sean O'Malley, sure, you're probably going to do a title fight anyway. But I thought the easiest fight for him would have been Deuce Degeta. He would beat Figueiredo, and then boom, title shot. I don't think Zahabi beats Sean O'Malley. So I just hate that fight stylistically for him. I think it was yes, you want to get paid, but here's Zahabi, man. Go call out Figueiredo. He's coming off a win. You're on similar timelines. You know damn well Sean O'Malley does not want to fight you. Sean O'Malley obviously reacted to that video with the whole, basically Conor McGregor, who the is this guy? Like, that was essentially his reaction to it. So you're not getting that fight. It's an unrealistic expectation. You're more likely getting a title fight than getting the next Sean O'Malley fight, because they're not going to feed. I mean, the Sean O'Malley fight's going to go to Yadong. It's going to go to Sandhagen. It's going to go to a guy with a big name. You're not getting that Ayman Zahabi. They'll give it to Figueiredo. They'll give Figueiredo the O'Malley fight before they will him, because Figgy's a former world champion. Anyways, they go Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista here. Again, Ayman Zahabi should be somewhere within the title picture. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think Umar deserves a title shot off of just one win. He's coming off a loss in January to Merab Dvalishvili. Now, Umar wins the first 2 rounds, sure. The last 3 rounds are all Merab. They're all Merab, man. You can make the case Merab wins the first round too, but nobody wants to have that conversation, okay? It should be 4-1 Merab, I think. But fine, Merab wins 3, 4, and 5. He's clowning Umar at the end of the fight. Takedown. Merab's the man, okay? Umar's good. I'm not going to deny that. Umar Nurmagomedov is a very talented fighter. I watched him shut down Corey Sandhagen, and he's still a guy that, he's the guy that many people will point out and say, okay, Umar is the one guy that can probably get Merab. I still don't think so. I don't think anybody is beating Merab Dvalishvili. I think the one guy who can actually beat Merab Dvalishvili is Aljamain Sterling, but that fight's never going to happen, and I'm glad it's not going to happen. Some fights like DC versus Cain Velasquez never need to happen, okay? And I'm glad Merab and Aljo will never fight, even though they can make a whole lot of pay-per-view off of it, but they're not going to do it, and I'm glad they're not. I hope Aljo gets eventually a shot at the 145 title, but they won't give it to him because the UFC hates Aljamain Sterling. Bro defended the championship more than anybody in the bantamweight division's history, and they said, you know what? Oh, goodbye. Go fight Calvin Kattar on the prelims. Have fun. Go fight Mosvar on the prelims. We don't care about you anymore. Thanks. I hate how the UFC did Aljamain Sterling, man. It's ridiculous. But Umar's fighting Mario Bautista now. Mario Bautista's coming off a big victory over Patchy Mix. Here's the thing, though. Okay, after Mix has lost to Jakub Wilklas, and I think I personally thought that Mix beat Wilklas, but it was such a bad fight for Mix anyway. Like, that was a fight he was supposed to easily win, and he lost. Easily won and he lost. Regardless, like, Bautista's win now over Patchy Mix is not that good. It doesn't. Because at the time, I was like, wow. Mix looked horrible, but I was like, oh, maybe it's just Mario Bautista making him look bad. Nope. So now Bautista's run going into this fight looks even worse. Oh, you barely beat Aldo. You beat Aldo horribly. Nobody thought you won that fight. And Ayman Zahabi, the next fight, beat Aldo way better than you did. Actually did damage against Jose Aldo. Actually put a pressure and put pace on Jose Aldo. And how did you beat him? You held him up against the fence. Umar's gonna beat. I'll just say now. Umar's gonna beat Mario Bautista by decision. Yep, he'll beat him by decision. He will style on Bautista here. How does Mario win? I don't know. I mean, it's not like Mario's the best strike. I think, Mario's gonna have to outstrike Umar, but Umar's gonna take him down. I think Umar's just gonna kind of lay on him because Mario actually has like decent enough defensive grappling to the point where, like, okay, I don't think it's gonna be easy money for Umar to get a submission down there, but I think, it's going to be difficult for Mario to build back up. It's going to be difficult for Mario to just straight up win the fight because Umar is a pressure-heavy guy. Like, I think Umar's eventually going to win the title. I think he's going to. Will it be off of Merab? No, I don't think it will be off of Merab. But I think we forget too. Like, Umar's 29. Merab's the champion right now at 36. Like, I mean, timelines are not the same there. Like, eventually Merab's gonna either lose the title or retire. Eventually that's gonna happen, I think. Maybe not. Maybe Merab never retires. Father Time beats everybody. Like, almost, yeah, it beats everybody, right? Like, it's either you retire or Father Time gets you, right? Umar will probably touch the belt eventually. Like, he's 29. He's younger than a lot of these guys in the weight class. Like, Song Yadong's pretty young, too. But, like, I like Umar's future a lot better than Song Yadong's, personally. The point I'm getting to here is that Umar's still very talented, and you should not give up on him just yet. And that's why you shouldn't get a title shot next, too. Because, like, Umar's going to be around the belt for a while. I think, again, you don't want to... If Umar's ever going to beat Merab, you're going to need, like, a year. He's not beating this version of Merab because we just saw him fight that version of Merab. He'll beat Mario Bautista because he'll be able to wrestle Bautista, and Bautista's got decent grappling, but it's not on the level of Umar's. So Umar's going to win. I think Umar can beat Mario Bautista on the feet, too. Like, it just... Again, the patchy mix win for Mario Bautista is nowhere near as impressive anymore. So, I'm going to go Umar Nurmagomedov to win the fight by decision. On to... Oh, my goodness. Mackenzie Dern is favored to win the UFC championship. Oh, my God. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe Mackenzie Dern's a fight away from winning the world championship. See, like, I'm not against the UFC, like, making the champs vacate the belts because they're going to go chase two. I don't mind it because it keeps the weight classes going, and I hated when, you know, there was a span, goodness, man, like 2019 to like 2022 where everybody wanted to be a double champ. Didn't matter who you were. Like, if you had one defense, you know, oh, I want the second belt. You know, oh, I defended my title once. All right, I want the next title. And actually, that went on to like early last year where like O'Malley defended his belt once. I want Ilia Topuria. Who's Merab? I want Ilia. Okay, good thing he didn't do that because Ilia would have knocked his head off. And you know, O'Malley will tell you that himself. But that phase of everybody wanting to be a double champ is kind of over. Well, kind of over now because they made Ilia vacate. They made Islam vacate, maybe because he didn't want to fight Ilia. I don't know. Regardless, they made both those guys vacate. They made Zhang Weili vacate. You can't get two belts anymore, no matter who you are. So, which also, like, begs the question, like, what happens if Zhang loses? What happens if Islam loses? Like, do they just get immediate title shots back at their original weight, or do they stay? I don't know. Anyways, Vina Jandiroba and Mackenzie Dern is a vacant championship fight. Does this not remind you of like when Raquel Pennington fought Mayra Bueno Silva for a vacant championship? And no matter what you think of Juliana Pena, that fight to me though when it happened, I'm pretty sure I'm on record saying this too in my video. I was like, the winner's probably just gonna lose to Pena anyway. Dare I say this about Tatiana Suarez? Like I don't know if I think Suarez can actually win a 5-round fight though, because Suarez is next. Undoubtedly, I believe, for as bad as Suarez looked against Lemos, she found a way to win. Her third rounds are always horrible, and I don't know how she's going to win a championship fight, but who else are you going to give the next shot to? And that's the thing. The bantamweight division went to crap after Nunes left. It did. And Nunes is coming back, and now it's being saved by the Harrison Nunes, super fight. And, Juliana tried her best to save the weight class, but obviously nobody thought Pena was the highest level fighter. Here's the thing. Either a 37-year-old Jandiroba is going to win the belt, or Mackenzie Dern, who nobody treats as high level, is going to win the title. And the first title challenger, I think, has to be Tatiana Suarez. Yao Zhang just lost to Jandiroba. Can't do that. Lucinda's going to fight Jillian Robertson, which might become a contender fight. You can't give it to Tabitha Ricci off of one victory. Lupi Godinez? Legitimately, Lupi Godinez might be next for the belt. That's what I'm saying. There's no contenders. This is going to sound crazy. Jacqueline Amorim's like a couple fights away, and she's going to fight Mizuki on the first fight of this card. Guys, this is going to sound so crazy. If I'm Jacqueline Amorim, low-key call it the title fight. If I'm Jacqueline Amorim, first round sub, you get 5 straight finish wins, I'm low-key calling for the belt. Play into it. No one finishes fights in this weight class. Jacqueline Amorim does. I'm not saying Amorim should be fighting for the belt next, but if I'm her, I'm calling for the belt. I don't care. Probably not going to get it, but maybe you will. I don't know. Because it's either that or Tatiana Suarez wrestle fest for 25 minutes, clinch fest for 25 minutes. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm getting to is that I think we're going to see a million champions at 115. That's what I thought we were going to see at 135 when obviously, Raquel won the belt and Juliana won it. But now that Kayla Harrison's there, like, Harrison's going to be the champ for a very long time. Or Nunes gets it back. Like, regardless, that belt's going to stay with Harrison/Nunes for a while until that next big contender comes up. 115, this belt's going to get, hot potatoed around for a while. I mean, legitimately. Whoever wins this fight could very well lose to Suarez. Suarez could then very well lose to Yan Xiaonan. Yan Xiaonan who's actually not that young anymore, could easily lose, I'm not joking, to Lupi Godinez. Lupi Godinez could actually drop the belt to Jacqueline Amorim. Jacqueline Amorim could drop the belt to Jillian Robertson. I'm serious. Like, these names you never thought would be UFC champions could actually touch the belt. Until, I don't know if I'm hyping her up too much, Fatima Klein. I think Fatima Klein might take the belt and run with it for a while. She's very good. That's a fighter that maybe. She's got to beat Angela Hill. She got past the Angela Hill test. But I'm telling you, like, these are the type of fighters that are going to be around the title now. Like, this is going to be something for a while. There's not, because for a while I was like, all right, Zhang Weili's number one, and then here comes the unbeatable Tatiana Suarez, but now Suarez is lost, and she looks beatable and barely got by Lemos. So all I'm saying is that this belt's going to get flip-flop for a while. Who's going to be the first, though, to take it post Zhang Weili? Which Brazilian will it be? Or wait, I forgot. Mackenzie Dern was born in Arizona. Okay, we've actually seen this fight before. Was it the first Fight Island card? I think it may have been. Nope, it was in the Apex. I thought it was on Fight Island. UFC 256. In the Apex, Deepson Figueiredo, Brendan Moreno, number 1. Mackenzie Dern fought Vina Jandiroba. I don't know why I thought that was in Abu Dhabi. I'm probably thinking of Jandiroba and Haqparast, I think they fought. Anyways, I think that's what I'm thinking of. No, I'm thinking of Jandiroba and Felice Herod. No. What fight did Jandiroba fight? No, it was Haqparast. She fought her in Abu Dhabi. Okay. But the fight that I am specifically thinking of is obviously Jandiroba and Dern. That was at 256 in the Apex in December. So, I didn't need to really rewatch it to remember it, but it is what it was. I rewatched it. It's everything that I remembered it to be. Dern outstrikes Jandiroba. It's all that is. It's a striking fight. Jandiroba gets a takedown, but then doesn't do much with it. No, it is purely striking for Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern doesn't do much with her grappling, and she doesn't need to, because she outstrikes Vina Jandiroba the entire fight. That's the reason Dern's a favorite here. Her last win was Amanda Hibas in January in the Apex. She submitted her. She got a horrible decision win over Lupi Godinez. She did not beat Godinez. Guys, Mackenzie Dern got knocked down a year and a half ago against Jessica Andrade 4 times in one fight. Amanda Lemos beat her. She beats Godinez and Hibas, and she's in a title fight. Now, who would you have rather given the title shot to? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Legitimately, there is nobody else you could have given the title shot to. Godinez would be that fighter, but Dern beat Godinez. So, or Jillian Robertson, low-key, I might have rather given this to Jillian Robertson over Mackenzie Dern. Again, I never thought I'd be talking about Jillian Robertson and UFC championship in the same sentence, but this is where we're at 115. So to make 115 at least a little exciting for us, guys, I want to see this belt fought for once every 3 months. I don't care. Like, I just want to see these random fighters fighting for the world championship. I don't care if we get to a Sam Hughes title fight or a Denise Gomez title fight or a Tisha Torres title fight. I don't care. I want to see this fight up for grabs every 3 months. I don't care. I don't care if this gets hot potatoed around. At least make it hilarious for us to watch. This is the start of this, because there's going to be no dominant champion here. Because even if it's Vina, who could be a dominant champion, she's 37. No way she holds this for more than 2 title defenses. Vina, okay, on paper, is Vina better than Mackenzie Dern? 100%. She is, okay? Vina's looked really good recently. Boring fight against Yan Xiaonan, but grounds her the entire fight. Submits Amanda Lemos in the Apex in a main event last summer. Beats Lupi Godinez by decision. Beats Marina Rodriguez. Beats Angela Hill. Huge winning streak. Stylistically, though, she matches up horribly with Mackenzie Dern. It's the perfect matchup for Dern. Yeah, Jandiroba's got good wrestling, got solid top pressure. You don't want to be in that guard. Nobody wants to be in that guard of Mackenzie Dern. To the point where I think Vina's going to strike. Vina's striking, though, sucks. Guys, oh my goodness. I'm taking Mackenzie Dern to win the world championship. Oh, she's going to win a 48-47 decision. Oh, my goodness. Oh my god. Because the thing is, Godinez literally beat her last Abu Dhabi card that they fought in. And I was so mad because I had a lot of money on Lupi. I don't know why I did, but I did. Guys, the minute this fight was booked, I was like, oh, Dern's winning the title. I've always thought it. Vina's on a run. 75% of people are picking Jandiroba. I'm telling you, stylistically, Dern matches up so well at Jandiroba. I've already seen Dern outstrike Vina. I know that was 5 years ago, but nothing's really changed. Yeah, Dern's still a crappy striker. Jandiroba's not the striker that's going to make her pay. Not at all. So actually, in terms of the pure chaos scenario, actually, I don't want Suarez to get the next title shot because I don't know if Suarez beats Mackenzie. You know who does beat Mackenzie Dern? Any striker in the weight class. So instead, I want to see for the World Championship next, I want to see Mackenzie Dern versus, I don't even know, Lucindo. No, I don't want to see that. Actually, I don't care. I mean, can we give Fatima Klein the next title shot? Is that outrageous to say? She should get the next one? No, she can't. Oh my goodness. This is a mess. This is such a mess. Dern's winning. Dern is very easily winning, in my opinion. I don't think Vina can hold her down. Well, no, I think she can hold her down, but I don't think you want to hold her down. I think eventually Mackenzie Dern's going to make her pay if she holds her down the entire time. I think what's going to happen, Vina's going to get scared of being in that guard. Dern's going to make her pay, and the fight's going to end up on the feet, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Mackenzie Dern's going to win a world championship because of her striking. Oh, my goodness. What have we come to in the sport? Because, I mean, it wasn't that long ago when Andrade knocked her down 4 times in 8 minutes. She knocked her down 3 times in the span of 2 minutes, like specifically. And then Lemos beat her. And then Lupi should have beat her. But then she beat Hebas. I'm telling you, Dern's going to be one of the worst champions in UFC history, but stylistically, she beats Jandiroba almost every single time, and I can't believe I've spent like 10 minutes on this fight, but it shocks me. Like, this is a world title fight in the UFC. I can't believe it. If Zhang loses to Valentina, she's going to come right back down and take the belt again. But if she beats Valentina, she's going to stay. So, wow. Mackenzie Dern, UFC world champion. This is unbelievable stuff. She'll be the second American champion currently in the roster. Yeah, she's still American, I guess. So, Mackenzie Dern, UFC world champion. Oh, my goodness. Main event time. So, here it is. Ciryl Gane takes on Tom Aspinall. I just don't know why the fight's being made. If the fight was in France, I kind of get it. I just saw Ciryl Gane lose to Alexander Volkov. How are you going to try to tell me he beats Tom Aspinall? I'm sorry if that was if that was right to the point, but that's the truth. We're all thinking it. How does Gane win? Okay. How Gane wins will be if Aspinall has not been taking this seriously. Aspinall's been off for so long. Ring rust is real. He has not fought since the summer of 24 in Manchester against Curtis Blades. And, he's been doing stuff outside the octagon. He's not really taking this fight seriously at all. He's not training. And Gane, who's a capable striker, beats him. But the thing is, if Gane beats Aspinall, it's a prolonged beatdown. I like Gane a lot. At one point in time, I called him the greatest heavyweight striker in UFC history, and that was before the Ngannou fight. And I will stand by this every day. Gane was going to beat Ngannou. He outstruck Ngannou. If Ciryl Gane, guys, that fight's 2-2 going to the 5th round. And if Ferdinand Lopez doesn't tell Ciryl Gane, you need a finish, you're down 3-1, going into the 5th round, Ciryl Gane, he beats Ngannou. He gets the takedown against Ngannou in the 5th round. He gets it, he's got top control for 2 minutes, and then he pulls for a heel hook. And the commentator's like, oh, and Gane looking to finish it now, and he slips out, and Ngannou ends up on top, and Ngannou gets the final 2.5 on top of that fight. And Ngannou wins it. And yeah, Ngannou was injured going into that fight, ended up being Francis's last ever fight in the UFC. But if Gane doesn't go for the heel hook, Ciryl Gane wins. That fight was so disappointing too. I mean, that was I don't know if I've ever been more excited for a UFC fight legitimately than Ngannou Gane because of all the beef, and they both trained at, MMA Factory, and it was just a horrible fight. It wasn't really good. Oh, again, Gane wins the first 2 rounds, and he just gets out-wrestled the entire time, and now the blueprint's there to beat Gane. Ngannou was the one to really expose the blueprint. You wrestle him. Ngannou out-wrestled Gane, so now everybody out-wrestles Gane. We saw John Jones do it. We saw Volkov do it. We saw Volkov out-strike Gane. I think, was it Bisping this week on commentary that said, a lot of people are looking at this fight as it being a mismatch. Aspinall's just going to take him down. But, that was John Jones who fought Ciryl Gane. And John Jones can do that to everybody. Fair, but are we not forgetting what Ngannou did to Gane? That's the simplest way about it. Are we not, Ngannou took down Gane and held Gane down. Sure, John made it look easy with the submission, but Ngannou That's how Ngannou beat Ciryl Gane. And yeah, Gane was going to win the 5th round. He got the takedown. I think it was a double he got. Center of the octagon, nowhere to go for Ngannou. Ngannou was not getting back up. And Gane went for the heel hook, and that's what cost him the world championship. Now, again, we would have just gone to Gane versus Jones anyway for the world championship, and that would have saved the UFC's ass a little bit, because then Ngannou would not be the world champion going into the PFL. But anyways, right, we would have ended up just getting Gane Jones eventually. Gane Tuivasa probably would have been a world title fight in the meanwhile. And then Gane would have just lost his 2nd title defense to Jon Jones. So the timeline probably stays the same there. But I mean, that's what exposed the blueprint, and Ngannou took Gane down. What's Tom Aspinall going to do? Guys, unless Tom Aspinall fights this fight stupid, where, I think I can just out-grapple this. I can just outstrike this guy. I don't think so. I highly doubt he does that. I really doubt he fights that style of fight here. But here's the thing, too. It's not like Ciryl Gane's got one-punch knockout power. He's a great striker. He's a very highly skilled striker. He's a very technical striker. Again, Ciryl Gane is amazing striking-wise, except for the Volkov fight. I'll get to that in a second. But it's not like, okay, here's the thing. There's a chance there's a chance Aspinall says, you know what, I'm just going to strike this guy. I'm going to try to knock this guy out. I don't think Gane can make him pay. I think Gane can hurt him. I don't think Gane's going to put Aspinall down and flatline him. I'd be very shocked if that happened. So, okay, say Gane starts winning, and say this is again, guys, if Aspinall fights smart, Gane's getting subbed in under 2 minutes. Okay? Legitimately, that's what's gonna happen. Gane will get submitted in under 2 minutes. But say he doesn't. Say he's like, you know what, I'm gonna out kickbox this guy. I'm gonna go out here now, I'm gonna outstrike him. Okay. Gane starts touching him. He starts tagging him. Takedown, fight over. I'm serious. That's how low level Gane's grappling is compared to other high level grapplers. Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, that's why they never made the Almeida fight. Because we all knew what was going to happen in Jailton Almeida versus Ciryl Gane. Almeida would have taken him down, submitted him right away. That's why Curtis Blades never fought Ciryl Gane. That's why Gane never wanted to fight Curtis Blades, because he knew, I'm just going to get taken down. I like Gane, but he doesn't fight that often, and he's always been gifted the best matchups. Look at his run, guys. Look at Gane's run. He got an old Giro dos Santos, Rosenstruik, kickboxer, Volkov, kickboxer, Lewis, interim title, boxer, Ngannou, supposed to be a boxer, Tuivasa, brawler. He had to fight Jon Jones. Sergey Spivak, sure, but in France, Spivak, come on. Volkov again, striker. And look what happened in Volkov versus Gane. I had always said too, this is always my thing about Ciryl Gane. Yeah, I don't love his grappling, don't love his wrestling, but he is the best striker in heavyweight history. Nobody outstrikes Ciryl Gane because he's that high level. And it was a fact. He outstruck Ngannou. He outstruck Volkov handedly the first time. He dominated Derek Lewis, dominated Rosenstruik, did get tagged by Tuivasa, but it's legitimately the only punch Tuivasa landed in the entire fight. He did knock out Dos Santos by elbowing him in the back of the head. That was a horrible elbow, but you know what I mean. Elbowed him in the back of the head. And UFC was trying to cover that one up. Joe Rogan. JDS was protesting that you hit him in the back of the head. Let's just take a replay. We don't see it at all. That's a clean shot. And Gane goes, oh, I guess I did. And Rogan's like, no, don't say that. No. It's a clean knockout. We need to get JDS out of here. We're done with this guy. No, it was clean. Gane was like, oh. Anyways, I can't say Gane's now never been outstruck because he just did. Volkov outstruck him. Volkov made Gane switch levels and change his game plan and try to wrestle him. Volkov outstruck him the entire fight. And then proceeded to put him on his ass in the third round, put him on his back in the third round, out wrestle him. Volkov beat Ciryl Gane. How does Gane beat Tom Aspinall? The only way Aspinall loses is if he's not training, hasn't been, focusing at all on this fight, and thinks, oh, you know what, no matter what, I'm not going to wrestle. No chance in hell. So I was thinking about going first round sub Aspinall. I might go TKO because he might just ground and pound his way to victory here. Yeah, I'm going to go ground and pound knockout win for Aspinall. I'm going to go crucifix knockout win, TKO win for Tom Aspinall. That's my prediction here. I believe it's going to be by ground strikes for Tom Aspinall here. I could see there, Aspinall blitzes him right away. Gane can't counter. It's just it's like the Aspinall blitz he does against Curtis Blades, and Blades really can't react, and Aspinall puts him down. Because again, like, I could, Aspinall, guys, I'm not even hyping up Aspinall that much, guys. Aspinall at his best, I mean, the UFC says about him all the time, and I've said it too, like, he moves he moves like a welterweight. Or middleweight. He moves like a middleweight at 265 pounds. He's so quick. He throws hard, too. He's got excellent grappling, too. But look at the knockout wins. Guys, the head movement he pulls off against Pavlovich, and then he knocks him out. The problem with Aspinall is no fault of his own because, John Jones in the UFC has held him up. He's fought twice in the last 2 years up until this point. He doesn't fight because they've been, holding him with the interim championship. Now, again, he's been promoted to official UFC world champion. This is not for the vacant title. No. Aspinall is the world champion going into the bout. Gane is the challenger. Aspinall is the champion, but he just hasn't gotten to fight that much. Aspinall's still a very capable striker too, to the point where, again, even if Aspinall said, you know what, I'm not going to shoot, I'm not going to wrestle, I still think he could beat Gane. I think it'd be a stupid fight. I think then it's a toss-up. I think Gane could beat him then. But still, again, if Aspinall, that's how lopsided this is for me. And again, Aspinall, huge favorite. He's at minus 480. Gane's plus 330. But this is, again, how lopsided it is. Tom Aspinall could literally fight the stupidest and dumbest game plan ever in this fight. And I'd still call it a coin flip. And I'd still probably pick Aspinall. I just saw Gane get outstruck by Alexander Volkov. Gane has somehow regressed in his career. Aspinall's only getting better, even though we haven't seen him in a while. I got to go with Tom Aspinall. He's only 32, and realistically, he should have this belt for another 5 years at least. Tom Aspinall wins. He will probably still go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time. Yes, I love Stipe, but I think it might be Tom Aspinall. The one concern is Jailton Almeida. Almeida beats Volkov by far the next title fight. That will be exciting. Put it in England or put it in Brazil, and you've got a heavyweight title fight. But again, for now, Tom Aspinall will beat Ciryl Gane. I'll go first round TKO on the ground in favor of the British Tom Aspinall. English Tom Aspinall. Folks, thank y'all for watching our UFC 321 predictions again with Tom Aspinall and Bongame Ciryl Gane in the main event. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to comment. If you did disagree with any of the picks, we'll be back again later in the week for our UFC 321 best bets. And next week, immediately after Aspinall versus Gane concludes, we'll have our UFC Fight Night Garcia versus Onama full card predictions out on the channel as well. So folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.